going out.
Yeah, we're going out.
I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall.
Right, today we've come back to a place we've been a few times before. Julie's been doing a bit more research, so she's got loads of really cool stories and interesting facts about this place. This is us back at St Conans Kirk. Duncan Campbell that built this place, he actually built it for his mum. His mum was getting old and kind of infirm, and they lived in a shale, which is an island just a little bit down there. The nearest church at the time was in Dalmally, which is way up that glen over there. So it was a bit too far for his mum to travel to church, and being that she was old and rather infirm, he decided to build her one. So he built this place. And I say it's just a few miles, in fact, about a mile from Innishail, which I say is just down the coast of the loch. Obviously, being that he was building it for his mum, he spared no expense and brought in bits and pieces from various churches and chapels and monasteries, like, things like Iona, places like that. He's actually from the kind of central belt area, down where Glasgow Airport is now. I believe there's a St Mary's chapel that's now currently a runway. When it was being taken down, they take some of the windows and the such like from that place and use them here. I think that might be where the one in the Bruce chapel came from. I'll need to check with Julie. But this place is just a mishmash of various other styles and components from other chapels and churches. But it's quite cool.
Here is a beautiful Celtic cross in memoriam to Caroline, with the ship that signifies the Campbell clan and her name in Gaelic at the bottom.
The amount of detail in this place is ridiculous. The amount of time and money that must have been spent to build it. Another sundial, which is not the most useful thing in Scotland, oddly enough.
This is the back entrance to the church. Quite an impressive arch, and it's actually a replica of the one at St Oran's Chapel on Iona, which we visited.
This place is called St Conans Kirk, and that is St Conan. Well, it's not St Conan, it's a statue of St Conan. What are you looking at? It's an effigy of St Conan. Yeah.
Quite reminiscent of Paisley Abbey. We have gargoyles on the outside of the building. This one represents a dog, though I think it's more of a hippopotamus. If we go over to the end here, we also have some hares, obviously depicting a hunting scene. The Saxon Tower is a copy of one at Durham Cathedral. There are ferns, which are a pagan depiction, and also a Roman addition on the top. We're now in the cloister of the church, and up here we have some very interesting steps, and they don't go anywhere, so we're going to have a look at them now. This tower with steps going up to it is actually a water tower. The altar boys had to pump air in to drive the organ with bellows. The tower contains water, and it was fed by Ben Cruachan, the water coming off the mountain. Basically, very early hydropower.
There's one other interesting thing about this place is all the woodwork in the cloister, and a lot of it throughout the church actually came from the naval ship the Duke of Wellington, and another one was the Caledonia. The Duke of Wellington is quite a special boat. It's the first ship ever to be renamed on the day of its launch, because the day it was due to be launched, the Duke of Wellington died. So they renamed the ship that day to the Duke of Wellington. Duke of Wellington also was taken back out of the water the day it was launched, and had a steam engine fitted, and it was one of the first naval steam engine naval boats. It was also the biggest at the time.
This is the window of the Bruce Chapel. We will go into the Bruce Chapel at some stage, but this was actually from St Mary's Chapel. It sat on what is now the runway of Glasgow Airport, and when the chapel came down in 1912, Campbell bought the window and brought it here for Robert the Bruce. This tower on the back of the church houses the wee man's house, just in that little window there. It's called Daniel's Tower. Each room in the tower is very, very small, but it was usable. The back of the church is absolutely stunning. The church isn't built in one particular style, it's more amalgamation of everything. This is a window from Iona, which Walter Campbell bought and fitted here in the church.
I don't know if Julie mentioned this or not, but these arches, they were going to be windows. But when Douglas Campbell died, and his sister effectively stopped the completion of the building, they basically down tools and left them bricked up, but they should be arched windows. And I don't think they came from Iona, but I think they're meant to look like they came from Iona. You know, they got them from somewhere interesting anyway, like everything else in here. Douglas Campbell liked to collect things from other churches and places that have been knocked down or ruined and incorporate them into this building, which is why it's just so unique.
We're now stepping down into one of the beautiful little private chapels, and there's a very interesting ante-room of it. Well, ante-hatch, we shall go in and see. Okay, so Daniel's Chapel is 4 foot by 4 foot. It was said to contain St Fillan's bones, but I think Mr Campbell was just finding somewhere quiet where he could do his writing. It is very nicely detailed and very cute. This is an effigy of Walter Campbell, the founder of the church. If we look up the church, there's a little diamond-shaped window there. That window receives the first light of the morning and reflects the light down on the recumbent Campbell. We also have another little window up on the side here, and this gets the afternoon light. Walter Campbell was quite a character. He wrote kids' books, he was a joker, he was a singer. He was a Tory, but not an acting Tory. He used to frustrate people by telling jokes and singing when Parliament was in session. So he probably wasn't that popular. It's worth noting that the Duke of Argyll did visit here and was really quite derogatory about this church. And really had a loss. Why? It's absolutely stunning. I think it was probably more to do with the fact that the Duke of Argyll and Walter's sister had had a falling out, and he thought the church was a mishmash. Very impressive mishmash. Walter also performed his plays and his entertainment for Queen Victoria at Balmoral. The Friends of St Conan's Kirk also donated £2,000 towards the refurbishment of the church. There's been a lot of work done on the stained glass windows. They are absolutely stunning, and the sun's shining through, so we can't see anything. This window is Princess Louise's work. You can clearly see the coat of arms at the bottom. It's done in bronze with oils. This is Gabriel, the writing tablet. Muslim faith also venerate Gabriel, as he is said to have written parts of the Quran. There's a lot of significance with this window as well. We have cherubs at the top and serpents at the bottom. In the centre at the top is the everlasting fire. We have at the top here more cherubs or angels, signifying the Father, the Son and the Holy Ghost. This is obviously of the arts and crafts movement. We have this chap in the middle with the cross of St Andrew on his chest. We also have the Bell of Truth. This is the effigy of Robert the Bruce. 3 weeks of polishing and £5,000 have brought him to this magnificent state he is in now. The detail is outstanding. We can even see his sword. This was entered into the Royal Architectural Exhibition in 1896. You can kind of see why. He's made of oak and alabaster. Robert the Bruce's body had been lost during the Reformation with the ransacking at Dunfermline. His tomb was destroyed. In 1818, the restoration of the abbey began, and in the nave they found remains clothed in lead with a crown and the cloth of the Field of Gold. In 1819, they reopened the lead casket and took 150 pages of notes of the details of the bones. They presumed he was 5'11" tall, which is pretty enormous for the time. He had developed quite strong shoulder muscles from carrying heavy swords, and the bones also had the rib cage damage because obviously his heart had been removed upon death and taken to the Holy Land. The bones were put back into the lead casket, but obviously a few wee bits and pieces were removed as souvenirs. We do have a little box that's suspected to be part of his foot bone. Peden from Windfarm had the foot bone of Robert and was intending to give it to Queen Victoria. Yeah, he was advised against that, really not in good taste. So it was given to Walter Campbell as he was a friend of the family.
This is the far end of the chapel. Just below this end, that is the crypt down there. Didn't get into it this time, but we've got some footage from the last time we were here, and we did get access to the crypt. Nothing spectacular in it, but we'll stick that footage in now.
Walter Douglas was told that this crypt structure wasn't strong enough, so he built a scale model and put a steamroller over it to prove them wrong. He proved them wrong. The plan for this crypt is to maybe have a stage here and have it for dramatic reproductions, which obviously with Walter Campbell's background I think he would be quite happy with. There weren't any burials here. There's not a churchyard as such, so there's never been any bodies down here, which is good. You can just make out the outline of an older building. This is presumed to be the old St. Fillan's Chapel, and right down on the floor, that's my knees crunching, there's a little box. It hasn't been investigated yet, but we're wondering if some of the saints' bones might be here. Walter Campbell is housed in St. Bride's Chapel, and beside it there are St. Conans. Again, I think the money spent on the gates was worth it. The gates were funded by the Ironmongers company. They cost £5,000 each. The Idlewild Trust also gave money towards the refurb, as did Carraig Gayle Windfarm.
No, we're not having a cat.
No, because when you sail it, we'll find you after.
He looks vicious.
Huh?
He looks vicious, he's going to attack. He's getting ready to pounce. Watch yourself. He's going to hug you. Bet it's got fleas.
Right, we just left St. Conan's Kirk, and since the weather is still quite fine, I think we might head Dalmally direction and see if we can get a couple of views. There's a really nice viewpoint at the top of a wee pimple, and you can get quite a good view from it now that there's lots of deforestation, so we might go there.
Right, we're now on the hills up behind Dalmally. If you come out here, bring a sensible car. It's a wee bit rough, but just park down there, walk up to this monument, because Julie, as usual, knows loads of stuff about it. Where do you find all this stuff out?
It's a monument for Duncan van MacIntyre.
Of course.
He was one of the more prolific Scottish Gaelic poets about parts.
Okay.
Very well known apparently
Was he?
in Scottish Gaelic circles.
There you go. The views up here are stunning. Just looking all the way down Lochy. This Breaker Lane, that's where Breaker Lane Castle is. And there's Innisshale, and then Innisconnell's way down there, and that one is Innisconan? No. Innis something else. It's another island. It's got a graveyard on it, which I plan to go to sometime soon, when I blow the Carraig back up again. And Kilhorn Castle is just down there. Is it? Yeah, Kilhorn Castle is just down there, and St. Conan's Kirk is just over behind those trees. So we're not actually that far from where we started today. It's just a bit of a loop to get here.
He mightn't be your best friend. Obviously there's two sides to every story, and one of his many jobs was working with the Hanoverians against the Jacobites as a soldier in the 45 Rising.
I thought he was like very Jacobite.
He replaced a gentleman in the Battle of Falkirk.
Mm-hmm.
And during the battle he managed to lose a sword, So he made a sort of entertaining poem about it afterwards.
He lost his sword.
Yeah, he lost some.
Right, hang on, so the pro-Jacobite guy joins the Hanoverians, goes into battle and accidentally loses his sword. I've just filmed that point at the ground. I don't know why. You probably just saw some nice grass there, but at least the vocals will work. What?
I'm just looking at the light.
That's quite cool.
That's funky.
Yeah, the views up here aren't too bad.
Right, so remember Archibald Fletcher?
Yeah.
That he took his place in the battle and lost the sword.
Yeah.
So after the battle, he rocked up the Archibald's house and went, I took my life from my hands and took your place, I want my money. And Archibald told him where to go. So this is why the poem was written.
Hang on, so Archibald Fletcher, he was supposed to pay him for taking his place in the Hanoverian side in the battle?
Aye, well he was a soldier.
So why did Archibald Fletcher not go himself?
Well maybe he was a voice or something, I don't know.
He was a wuss, so he hired a poet to go into battle for him who lost his sword.
No, he hired a soldier to go into battle for him who lost his sword.
You're just making this up, aren't you? I don't know where she gets this stuff.
In my brain.
Oh yeah, this is the monument for the poet that lost his sword.
Duncan was born down in Glenorchy.
Glenorchy?
And with this being a rural community, literacy wasn't high on the agenda for everyone.
Yeah,
and he was illiterate all his life. All his poetry was up here in his napper. But there was a minister from Lismore, McNichol, and he actually wrote down a lot of the poetry as time went on.
So Duncan by MacIntyre never actually wrote down any of his own poetry. He just read it to someone else.
He was illiterate, he couldn't.
That's quite cool.
Yeah. There you go.
I'm sure she's making this up. Wow! Just wow, look at that! Like, just get wow!
You know Ian Crichton Smith, right? He actually translated a lot of MacIntyre's poetry into English from the Gaelic that obviously the minister in Lismore had done. So,
cool.
But, you know, obviously we're talking about it. He spent a lot of time in his life as a soldier in the Guard, but I think a lot of the influence on his poetry was when he was working for basically the landed gentry of Perthshire, and he did actually work for the Duke of Argyll here. And people say that a lot of his poetry, you can see that influence. You know, that obviously the way the...
He wasn't a fan of the landed gentry because he'd worked for them?
He didn't appear to be, no.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I suppose we'd really show you the monument, which is... it's a kind of strange pillared tower thing.
This was built in 1859.
1859?
Yeah.
When was it he died? 1812?
I think so. That's round the corner.
That's why I think it was 1812, because I just noticed 1812 written on a bit of brick.
The 14th of May on 1812.
You just Wikipedia'd that, didn't you?
Yep.
Why is it every time I want to get a time lapse the clouds don't move?
Oh wow. What are you doing now? Rubbing your nose and sleeve. Yeah, he's a minger. Oh, see that? Just about there. Yay, it works. See that? That's a minger. That's a view. That's a stunning view.
Leave my hat on. Just messing with my hat. Screwing with my style. Anyway, that was Duncan Bang MacIntyre's monument.
He is buried in Edinburgh.
Aye. He was born here and these monuments here. And
I know there's so many. Oh, look, you can see the castle from here.
oh, that's the castle I said was over there. No, the castle's not over there, it's over there.
There?
Because you can see it. It was a light, it was...
Does it look like it might be earthworks?
And Julie's just noticed these, there's kind of, it's not a circle of rocks, but it's a couple of big prominent rocks. When you climb on one, you can start seeing a few others. There is actually a big kind of, you know, kind of stone circle. I don't know if it is maybe the remains of some earthworks or something, or if it's a clearance mound or what. I'm going to have a wee look at Canmore when we get home.
So that was a couple of hours and two sites.
Do it again because I was swiping my nose again. What? I've got to wipe my nose. My nose is running.